Hi folks, we have covered all the basics which are needed to start the web development. Let's have a recap. First, we understood what are the requirements to start the web development. We started with the computer, the installation of browser, code editor and all the initial requirement. Then we created a simple web page and opened it in a browser. And then we understood how the browser renders that web page, how the HTML is getting converted to a DOM tree and how CSS is getting converted to CSS object model tree and how the browser renders it. And then we saw how the web works. Whenever we type something in the URL, how the client establishes the connection with the server, how it gets the IP address by using the domain. So we saw all those things. And then we also spoke about the URLs, how the URL work, how can we use the URL in our development. Now we are ready to start the web development. Let's start with the HTML basics. Let's get on to the video. What is HTML? HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It is not a programming language like Java or JavaScript. It is a markup language. It is a presentational markup language using which the developer will define the structure of the web page. The browser will then understand the structure and render the final web page. Before we talk about the HTML, let's go through a website and understand how a web page looks and how an HTML looks. This is the YouTube website and this is my channel. You can see these are my videos. This is how the UI looks. So this is how the website is looking. Now if I go and check inspect element, now let's understand how the HTML is rendered. Here you can see this is the HTML, this is the head, body, and this is the HTML. So this is how the HTML will look. So this HTML will get converted to this web page and it uses CSS and JavaScript to attain this. So we'll go through CSS and JavaScript in the upcoming videos. The HTML document will comprise of many HTML elements which will form the structure of the final web page. Let's see an example of the button element. So button is an HTML element. This is called as the opening tag. This is called as the closing tag. So we have an opening tag and the closing tag. Between that whatever we have, this is called as the content. So this is the complete element which has an opening tag and the closing tag. Here the closing tag will have a forward slash. If we have an opening tag, we should have a closing tag. Some elements doesn't require a closing tag. Those are called as the void elements or the singleton tags. Example for this is break or the meta tags. There you do not have a ending tag or a closing tag. And together all these are called as the HTML elements. So this is a button and we have to mention some properties of a button like an ID, like an on-click event, all those things. So we have an attributes in the HTML element. Here in this case we have the ID and the save. So these are the attribute name and value. The name is ID and the value is save. Since now we know what is an HTML element, let's create the button element and see how it looks. Let's create a folder, web, open Visual Studio, and you can give open here and find where you have created the document and click on OK. Now this will just open. It will just open this web folder. See, this web folder doesn't have anything in it. Let's go and create a index.html file. .html is the extension for the HTML file. Let's create a button here. This is the tag. We can give save entry. So this is what we have created there, and we have also added an attribute. So ID is equal to save. So the value of the attribute is save. This gives additional information about this button, and this is the content. This is a very simple button. Let's see if the browser is able to render this. Let's go to index.html and click on Chrome. You can use any of the browser here. I am using Chrome. You can see a button. If you just do some changes and then go to Chrome and reload, that will reflect here. Now we have created our first HTML element. In the next video, let's see the other HTML elements.